advocate and expert witness on child abuse, child sex abuse, and courtroom reform. Did you want to come up to the thing, or did you want to sit here?
Fran,
everybody welcome Marilyn. Can you hear me?
It's muffled.
I think your battery's getting low.
I know. Can we get somebody run out and get the librarian to get us a fresh battery or whatever you need? There's no microphone on the table. Does this mic work? I think it works. I don't think this works. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just talk into it.
I want to say to all of Congress, Senate, can you hear me? Yeah. Maybe I'll use the other one. Should I use the other one?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Anybody can hear me? No.
No, it's the other one.
It's the other one.
No, this one's completely different. The other one. It's not even. Hello? Hello? Sorry.
Okay, once again, I want to address Congress, Senate, and the committee. It's extremely important that you take this heed and make it so this is not happening anymore. This is critical. This is the Family Justice Accountability Act. Francesca has done an incredible job here, and we all know that. It's taken years and years. I'm just going to give you a little view of what I went through and why I stayed in this. Still makes me cry, because when I walked in here and saw you mothers and the fight and the love for your children and the absolute injustice that has been going on past 36 years. So first of all, I just found that this needs immediate attention. This isn't something that you put on hold. You have everything. The congressmen, the senators, the committee, they have everything in this bill to make a difference. So, worst thing is, okay, I'll start from my case. I was divorced. I had full custody of my daughter. I lost her at the age of 2.5 to foster care. They took her away from me, the stable mom, stable parent, loving parent, and I pretty much had raised her to that point because I divorced him before she was 6 months old. The accountability and the transparency is sick in all this. And when she came forward with the sexual abuse, I ended up being labeled with parental alienation. We all know what that is. So they used parental alienation in these sexual abuse cases, and they stated I had PAS. They put her in foster care, then in time, she gets to come back home. But as she comes back home, there's more evidence. This wasn't a child that was hiding it. She told policemen, she told doctors, she told social workers, she told witnesses, and nobody protected her. The doctor's reports, the police reports, the hospital reports all stated at the age of 4.5, she had medical evidence. You don't have medical evidence in these cases. And I still lost her. They did ex parte hearings like they do with you. So, ex parte hearings, oh dear.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I'll try this one. Okay. So, as you know, and what the Congress and Senate needs to know, we were just talking about foster care and the trafficking of children. The worst trafficking of children, not in the thousands of numbers, but these are good families, good loving mothers, educated, from every walk of life, and they're losing their children to the abuser. In epidemic numbers. That's sex trafficking, and that's trafficking children. The home is really important, and it's like, I've consulted, I'm not kidding you guys, on thousands of cases. I have been speaking and writing about this since 34 years. I went on the media. I had national and international news coverage. CNN covered this case heavily, and they did a documentary on it, and they did an incredible job on PAS. Guess who was on that CNN page? Dr. Richard Gardner. So what you need to, yeah, absolutely. That, of all of you out here, this is what started it all. So when Richard Gardner came into my case, he states in his own books, he self-published. Back in those days you couldn't self-publish, but he did. And it's an unscientific method or theory, we all know that. And he stated, we all have some pedophilia within us. That it makes little girls and little boys better sexual partners. That we need to have more pity for the pedophile than scorn. It's God's will. It's good for procreation. This man started this. Did our judges read those books? Because he sent it to every court in the nation. Did anybody read what that man was writing and it took hold? So once that took hold, he ended up committing suicide. This is years later, but he stabbed himself 8 times in the neck and the chest. He said he was a Columbia professor. He was not a Columbia professor. He was a volunteer. This man started this, and the parental alienation is still going on because we've got Dr. William Burnett, who took over from Gardner. William Burnett is pushing this out there like crazy, saying it's in the DSM-5. It's not. And saying he's got a huge group pushing this whole thing. We need to get a hold of those kind of people to stop what's going on. They need to be publicized. It's been, the media, now I believe in the media, and I don't believe in going to the media when you're in the middle of your case, but in all honesty, when I had CNN behind me, I was going to jail. I had 5 contempt citations. Not that I was bad, I was kind of bad, but I hit everything I could hit. I went to the governor, I lobbied in Washington, D.C., I testified before Congress in 1991. And where are we today? How many years has this taken? How many thousands of children have been abused? And women, good, loving mothers, educated. You women in here are all beautiful today. And they're educated. They're from every walk of life. They're every socioeconomic status, race, religion. It doesn't matter. They're losing when they go into the family courts. You're shocked, and the Congress should be shocked, that these good, loving mothers are going to jail. The Congress should be shocked that when you go into family court, judges have no discretionary rule. They can rule any way they want. They throw out police reports, doctor's reports, hospital reports, extremely important information. And then you've got your GALs, those are the guardian items for the children. These GALs are the biggest crime behind it all, because our judges are listening to the GALs. Now I'll just say, I shouldn't probably say this because they're not all this, but they're the flunky lawyers that couldn't make it as a lawyer. They become GALs. And the power that they have is extreme. So when judges are listening to them, or custody evaluators, or CFIs, and even our social workers, it's absolutely off the limit of what's going on. In my case, I'll go back to it. I'll just state, I started writing this book. It's big. Prosecuted but not silenced when I lost my daughter. What I did, and I think all of you should do this, is document, document, document. I have all the proof. So when I started writing this, it's all of your cases. We all are the same. It isn't like we all have the same thing going, and our children be victimized. We're being victimized. They're shutting us down by our children are being murdered. Our women are being murdered. I've had just recently 2 women, mothers, that were, we don't know that they were murdered, but 2 that just committed suicide. We know the deaths with the women is pretty significant. The deaths with our children. The children that don't have death are soul murdered. How much longer is this to go on? Imagine, to the Senate and Congress, imagine trying to protect your child to only find them taken away. And it's happening in rampant. I've gotten thousands and thousands of calls. I'm aching so bad inside. When I saw you, I couldn't stand it because it's so rampant and it's never stopped. Judges should not have, we should have immunity for judges so they cannot do what they're doing. There has to be restitution for what's going on. A mother's first instinct is to protect her child. And when the means and power to do this are stripped unjustly from a mother, there are no words that can describe the constant heartache that is felt as each day passes. For God to take your child away, maybe can be accepted in time. For the laws, judges, the court personnel, and perpetrators to do the same. We need to stop this now. I want to make sure I haven't missed stuff because I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head.
Doing great.
Okay.
Love you.
So, I went into the children dying. I also went into, you know, when Gardner was doing what he was doing, and I went on CNN International News, I was going to jail, and I was going to jail for a long time. But I had CNN International News outside my doors at the courthouse. And that's the only reason I didn't go to jail, because I had international news coverage. Gardner was in that piece. Guess what he said in that piece? Jail these moms, gag these moms. What do you think's been going on? How many women are being jailed and gagged? Listen to this, Congress and Senate. How many women do you think are being jailed and gagged and aren't making it through this? I just want to say, there's so much I want to say. This is very hard for me because I go on and I speak a long time. But now there's the, with the immunities thing, and they get immunity. We need to get these judges to not have immunity. We need to be able to go after them. We need to be able to go after the court personnel, the GALs. It's time. They need to be held accountable. I just want to give you a few cases that I dealt with. And I mean thousands, but I'm just saying, I just want to give you a couple. There was this mom, her name was Nadawa Holt. And she was out of Boston. And she was a surgeon. And her husband was an Air Force colonel. And she would call me and just, Mary Lee, how have you done this? And she was staying strong. She was very strong. But she ended up losing her children to the Air Force colonel, who were sexually abused. I have to say allegedly sexually abused. But when she had them, she sent me videos of their twin boys. And it was excruciating pain. And I have tons of copied video, not videos, but tape of my daughter screaming out in the night, "No, Daddy, don't. It's Howie, it's bad," 5 and 6 times a night. She had evidence. She told policemen, doctors, social workers, and they didn't protect her. Nobody protected. Mommy, how come no one believes me, Mommy? How come I have to go to my dad? I don't like to go to my dad. He touches me. Well, now he's raping her. So if you look at these women, we have, I just told you that, recently 4 children were murdered in Colorado, and 2 were daughters, sisters, and the mom told and told and told the courts, and she lost both of them. Within 2 months, we had another father murder a 5-year-old. He wasn't even in this mother's life. You'll hear this. He wasn't married to her. He's starting to get custody because he's raping her. And he killed that little girl. And then there was another little boy that was murdered. I got news media on that like crazy, just in Colorado. And it took hold, and the news person that did that, Chris Osher, got a huge award out of New York for reporting that. That's what you need to do. We need to get it out there. I don't believe anything is going to change until we get it out in the media. Back in 1993, I testified before Congress, I can't remember, 91 testified before Congress. And then about 93, I had a rally at the Capitol in Colorado. We didn't have the internet in those days. You guys have the internet. You can hit it so hard. Thousands, pull it together. You've got to come out strong. I know you're afraid because you've been silenced. Don't be afraid. Don't be silent. I was never silent, even with all my contempt. No, I didn't go to jail, but I had CNN. But the bottom line is, okay, I'm just going to give these moms. Okay, so Nara Holt, I told you about, she, on Mother's Day, which most of you can relate to, on Mother's Day, every mother in here dies in pain. They barely make it through it. I planted flowers every Mother's Day. Get my daughter home, get my daughter home. That was my way of doing Mother's Day. She committed suicide? Maybe she didn't. We know mothers are being murdered. I don't believe she committed suicide, because she would have never left those boys, and she was a fighter. Then you have Kalea Ames. She's in Colorado with me. I worked with her on her case for about 2 or 3 years, and she spent $350,000 in legal fees. How many of you are bankrupt? How about that, Congress and Senate? These are good, loving mothers with good jobs. They're losing their jobs, and they're having to pay court costs, attorney's fees, that father's attorney's fees, all court costs, not just a little, for the therapist, everything. And they bankrupt you. That's the way they keep control, is by bankrupting you. So Kalea's case really killed me, because most of these moms are beautiful. I'm not going to say you really are. They're beautiful women. And Kalea is another one. And she had 3 little girls that were allegedly sexually abused. And those 3 little girls had told what was happening to them. She lost her attorney after all those years of fighting. And she had to represent herself. So she goes in pro se. I did pro se. If you get to the point where you have to go pro se because you don't have money, you can do it, because you're the most articulate person on your case. Nobody, no judge, no lawyer, nobody knows your case more than you do. So Kalea goes in by herself to represent herself, and I'm pacing. I went in as ADA advocate so I could get in the courtroom, because they seal these courtrooms and silence you. So I get in there, and social services sees that I'm there, and the social service attorney and the GAL, and they go freak out. So in the meantime, I'm pacing the front of the courtroom, and the judge says, "Miss McLean, is there something I can help you with?" And I said, "Yes. You can move that party over to the other side, the respondent party over to the other side," because he had 2 attorneys sitting right behind her while she's trying to represent herself. Do you think that's a little intimidating? Yeah. So as time went on, she's fighting. She posted on the internet, which you will find. Be careful what you post on the internet. I just had a mother that posted about the judge. She's in jail right now. This just happened a couple of days ago. And she posted on the internet, and the judge put her in jail for 6 months. Then she got 6 months more. She went into, now I'm going into court with her, and I see her coming in with this Ford, the orange uniform with her ankles tied to chains. And I can't see her, because I don't see well anyway. But I can't see her, and I am shocked, because she's so skinny. I didn't know who she was. They're freaking out that I'm there, so they take our phones, and they turn all of our phones off. And they start arguing, the social workers, all of them, that whole side. She's an author on this. She's a spokesperson on this. She needs to get out of here. We cannot. Well, let's just put her on the witness stand. Yes, put me on the witness stand. Please do. Anyway, I was kicked out of the courtroom. And the judge said to me, excuse me, "Miss McLean," because I do a lot of media, "Miss McLean, if you go to the media, you talk to anyone about this case, you will go to jail immediately." And I knew this woman would put me in jail. I walked out of the courtroom. We had 15 other mothers there. They wouldn't let them in because it was a sale courtroom. That's how I went as the ADA advocate. And as I came out, there was a couple policemen there that saw what was going on, and they were sick. And I went, "Duh, duh, duh, duh," and I started calling all the news stations. So it takes a fighter. I see that in Francesca. I see that in me. So Kalea ends up going, and they tear her apart, the whole court hearing. I mean, horrifically. She was strong. She came out and threw herself on the floor and just started sobbing, because they wouldn't let her talk. She couldn't say anything. It ends up she lost her parental rights. Now, when you lose your parental rights, Congress and Senate, hear this. When these mothers lose their parental rights, it's for good. It's forever. how dare a system that has no systemic anything. They do whatever they want and take this mother's 3 little girls. She has never seen them again. It's heartbreaking. Okay, there's another mother I want to give. No time? Okay, I just want to read one thing. One thing, real short. Okay, I get it. I talk too much. I know, so I'm just being really short, you guys. This is for you. We true, natural women cannot live without our children. We had rather die than have them torn from us, as your laws allow them to be. Spirit wrongs before our man's courts and our man's juries, and has no marks of violence upon her. It is hard to realize that her whole physical system may be writhing in agony from spirit wrongs, such as only can be understood by her peers. Spiritual sensitive women suffer on in silence and anguish without appeal until death. Kindly liberate her from her prison of unappreciated suffering. Elizabeth Parson Ware, 1864.
Okay. This is a message that came through from LULAC representative Roman Palamarshi. Just wanted to say, this bill distinguishes our nation from many others around the world. LULAC represents the Latino community, millions of the Latino community, and said, for generations, men and women have sacrificed their lives to protect these freedoms, and millions of Latinos look to our judicial system as the guardian of justice that is blind, balanced, and fair. LULAC urges